Here's how I go about playing this great tune, Ain't Misbehavin'. I played in, that time anyway, in the key of G, and I have a little intro on it, and the intro outlines an A minor 7th to D 7th chord change. Starts out on the A minor 7th with these two notes here. It's really an A minor 9th, but A bass. And this little C triad here is part of an A minor 7th chord. I end up on a D 7th, and the important thing is to start on the A minor 7th and end up on the D 7th, and what you do in between, you can get a little bit more creative, but I did this. This first move is you got to play the G with your ring finger over here on the 6th string 3rd fret. Here's a little kind of a trill sort of move, very pianistic sounding. Fats Waller does it in his version of it, but it's on the G string and the D string, and I'm pinching, no, I'm not pinching, excuse me. I'm hammering on and pulling off there. And with my pinky, then I hit the 4th string of the 4th fret of the 4th string, and back to open G, so that's kind of a tricky move, but the second chord is G sharp diminished, which is played with your index finger barred at the 3rd fret, your ring finger in the middle there on the G string, 4th fret, and your middle finger on the 6th string, 4th fret. And just play the strings on this chord that you have fingers on. In other words, the 6th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. The melody will be right on that top note there. Go to an A minor, but to accommodate the melody, you have to leave the your index finger off so that you get this. And then to A sharp diminished. That's played pretty much garden variety there. It would be the same as playing that diminished chord here. Anyway. Going to a B minor 7th here. And then to a G augmented. But anyway, it's played like this: index finger over here, middle finger here, and then your pinky is on the 2nd string 4th fret, and your ring finger's on the 3rd string 4th fret. So you've got these strings here. And again, don't play the strings that you don't have a left hand finger for. Just leave them out of the equation. Anyway, that's that chord. Then I'm going to a C 6th. Just 2 bars, one at starting at the 5th string at the 3rd fret, and the other starting at the 4th string at the 5th fret. Take your ring finger off, and then I'm going to a C minor, and it's a C minor. It starts as a major minor 7th. That's what this note is here. But this is another thing that Fats Waller did. You kind of just follow that note down chromatically over the C minor chord, or within it. Back to the G there. You can go to an E 7th this time. And then to a D 7th with the open E string on top. A turnaround, which is just G major, G sharp diminished. We did that chord before. To A minor, to D 7th. Then, so that's the A part, and that of course repeats itself. Then there's the B part. But before we get into the B part, let's do this A part together on the split screen. Now the B part, or the bridge, starts, of course, after the second time you play the A part. And between the first day and the second day, there's a turnaround. And between the second day And this B part, there's going to be a turnaround too, a different kind though. So I'll start from just the end of the second A part, and I'll start talking about the bridge from there. A misbehavin'. Our target chord is this E minor. That's what the chord the bridge really starts on. But there's a transition between when you're playing in G and then you go into the bridge. So what that turnaround is I do this one anyway. It's a kind of a country blues turnaround. To B7th, which then leads you into E minor. But what happens here is your pinky stays anchored on the top string, and I'm pinching these two underneath on the 4th string and the 2nd string, both at the 3rd fret, and moving it down 1 fret, with the pinky staying where it was, and then down another fret. You can facilitate this easier by barring at that 1st fret to open, where you're back at like a G here. Now in between, on that last one, I have a habit of putting this note in. Then going to B7th. The bridge starts on an E minor. And to get the melody in here, you can play this E minor. And you can still get an alternating bass going. So that's played just like a D minor, only up 2 frets. And I'm also adding my ring finger at the 4th string, 5th fret. That's E minor, and that's the 1st chord of the bridge. 2nd chord is C. That's how you do the melody there. Then to a C sharp diminished. This is played with the index finger. Now this time it's played on a different set of strings, so the index finger is barring at the 3rd fret of the last 3 strings. The pinky is at the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and middle finger is at the 4th fret of the 5th string there. So, and you leave the 4th string and the 6th string out of it again. The next chord is in E7th. But I like to play it like this. You get a kind of a Merle Travis thing going in there for some reason. I like that. And you can also play this melody by bending this note, and with the chord underneath it. All right, from there we're going to go to a series of 4 chords, first starting with D major, which I play like this, to D sharp diminished, which is played here. We've done this chord earlier in the tape. I'm just fingering it. I'm playing it this way so you can see it better. It actually, I play it like this. This finger is dormant there. To E minor 11th. That's with the index finger playing the melody up here. And then the melody is here, so. Then to an A 13th. And this A 13th is played like this. A bar at the 5th fret, middle finger and pinky here. But I'm doing this with my pinky. I'm pinching it, and then I'm taking it to the next fret lower on the 2nd string, and pulling that off to the bar. So the 3 notes are. But the tricky thing is to pull off that note to the bar as your right-hand thumb hits the alternate bass note. Right there. It's a move you got to learn. That's a good one. Okay, from there, we're going to go to a series of 4 more chords, which is going to bring us back to the key of G and of course, our A part. But anyway, after that, it goes, to B minor 7th here, just played with 3 fingers, these last 3, on the 6th, 4th, and 3rd strings at the 7th fret. I got a buzz there. But. Then move these 2 fingers down 1 fret and leave the pinky alone. Leave it anchored where it is. Then you play this chord, which is A minor 7th. It's A minor 11th, really, because this note is constant. You were playing it here before, and now you're going to be playing it here. It's the same note. And then again, move your ring finger and middle finger down 1 fret each. And you've got the whole move. Then you go to G there, by the way. So that's the B part, and from there, of course, you can start the A part again. So let's take a look at the split screen on that and do it together, please. Now, when I play a tune like this, I like to improvise choruses, and here are some of the ideas that I use when I'm improvising over a song like this while fingerpicking. First, to break it down into small chunks, bite-sized chunkettes. And you'd have, for instance, the first few chords, which would be G major, G sharp diminished, A minor, A sharp diminished, and back to G, only with the third in the bass. And the thing that's really nice about this tune and how Fats Waller wrote it is how the bass line goes up chromatically with those chords, if you notice. There's chromatic movement, and all those chords happen within there. So just taking that much of it, there's a whole bunch of things you can do instead of the melody to play over that. Just using the bass line, you could come up with any melody. Like that, but I like to add some chord tones in there too, so for some harmony. So it involves a little bit more with the right hand, but I take that G chord and play it some other way than like this. I'd play it like I just bent up to the 5th note. When I play an A minor here, my pinky always wants to do this for some reason, so I just let it there. Sliding into the 3rd of a D7th chord. So now we have a whole new thing to do there. And you're at a G here, and a G augmented. I'm not sharp enough to do a lot of stuff over augmented chords here, but I do know that when you come up with an augmented chord like this one is, this G here, that's when this shape comes into play. And you just have to know which fret to play it at. But it's like that F chord, you know, only played over on the middle 4 strings, and in this case up on the 4th, 5th, and 6th frets. I'm just playing the middle 4 strings there. But these 2 notes here, these 3 notes here, it gave me the idea of this. So when I see this chord, I automatically think of this, and I can make an arpeggio with it or repeat it up 4 frets from where you started. Just like diminished chords are movable 3 frets apart from each other and repeat, augmented chords are the same 4 frets away. The notes repeat. So that's a valuable improvising tool right there. So what I'm doing is really breaking it down into these micro sections and analyzing what's going on. I'm doing this kind of in my head as I play, just because I've been doing it for 30 years, I guess. But that's what I use there, just like a section of that. There's a C6 to C minor, and I might decide to play it in a different place, which would be C6 up here, for instance, to C minor, and have a whole new sound there. Same chords, a different place, and different melody notes. And from here, name Misbehavin, saving my love for you, is pretty much the same chords as a turnaround, which is G major, E7th, A minor, D7th. And so any way that I know how to play those 4 chords will suffice there when I'm improvising. For instance, up here would be one place. That's G major 7th. Here's E7th. Might as well wiggle the pinky while I'm at it, to A minor, to D7th. Recognize this D7th here chord and this E7th from Deep River Blues. That's where it's just an E7th, and that's movable all over the fretboard. So, without getting in, real specific, those are some of the ideas that I use to improvise over tunes like that.